the change of the forest type reveals much more information about the geography there than just the forest being just forest. Hello everybody, welcome back. In this episode we will add some forests to the map, and this time instead of covering the basics I will cover a bit more detail because now we have a bigger map and we have more climates, we have different biomes. I will tell you the keys to have nice looking forests and how to get a beautiful spread of forests on the map that is both realistic and aesthetically pleasing. So let me first give you a speed run, and once the speed run is done I will quickly cover what we did and what those keys are with the examples that I prepared. So see you soon. All right, we are back. So now we have some trees, so we can talk about what kind of strategies we could follow to spread them nicely. And first things first, just like the climate, the biome changing when we crossed a mountain range like this one or like this one, the same thing should apply to the forest. If one side of the big mountain ranges have forest, the other side should not have. They should only have a little bit of, maybe little chunks of woods, but nothing more than that. If it is like a smaller, very smaller mountain range or the edge of the arms, etc., we can have forests that surround them. But if it is literally the middle of the mountain range, when you cross it to the like other side, don't have the forest continuing. For example, because I have it here and here, I'm not gonna have big forest following up here. But you see now this is an arm, so I am able to surround it with the forest. I could also maybe come up to here following this with this one, or maybe I could do all of it, but I would still in that case need to change the colors or the density a little bit, so we at least have an impact of the mountain range visibly. And of course also if your trees are growing with magic or something, then yes, you don't need to follow these rules, you can break these rules. And sometimes it's also nice to have exceptions, but you need to keep them like you have a very tight budget on making exceptions. And yeah, now let's start the analyzing. All right, so time to talk about the strategies about forests. And quick recap, we already mentioned go with major forest then to minor forest and have different shapes of forest, not like repetitive shapes. We already covered that. So this time, I want to talk about something different. I want to talk about another strategy to have natural and aesthetic looking forest. So remember what we did when it comes to rivers and lakes. We were trying different combinations about the placement of them, like lake closer to the mountain, lake closer to the sea, etc. So similar approaches can be made for the forest. But because of the sizes and different shapes and types of forests, like a forest for representing cold region, a forest for representing warm region, and a mix of those, now we have much more variety, much more combination. If we were to go with a minimal look and only had one type of tree, yes, the combinations would be less. But in this map, I want to show you the bigger combinations that is possible. For example, I'm coming down here. As you can see, even in this small region, we have a different type of forest here and two combos. In this map, I want the pines to represent that the region or the area is getting colder. And I want to have these oaks to showcase generic forest of the warm areas. But here also, as you can see, the oaks and these capox, trees that represent more density and more humid and warmth, are now matching. Of course, this is not the finished version. We are gonna add here and there like combos. We can match them more, and then we will also color them and blend those colors. It easily shows us that even in such a small area, the change of the forest type reveals much more information about the geography there than just the forest being just forest. So a quick example here, having different types of forest, combining them depending on the location. It's a thing that you can do to give tips about the climate or the change of climate throughout the land. And when you think of this approach and combine that with different sizes and different locations of forest, now you have much more. So for example, I have this big forest here. At the center, there is a hill range. It's a different combination now. I have a forest that covers a range of hills. I have a forest here that surrounds the bay. I have another forest that surrounds an arm of the mountain range. And I could also be combining different types. If the southern part is very much warmer for any reason, a change of the types and a change of the positioning could end up with so much variety. And now I have a forest here that has a lake in the center, another combination. I have a different shaped big forest of pine. I already told like different sizes. These are like major, but not like major. Like you could also have a forest that comes from here and goes through a few different types of regions. Like it's possible. Just for the sake of being able to add more types and combinations here, I didn't want to make one very huge forest or few very huge forests covering so much land, so we can see more combinations. So another one here next to sea and next to river, but small, right? Another one here halfly covering like the range, not completely swallowing it. And another one here in between rivers, and let's see, next to a lake, between the rivers, like you see, between the sea and the mountain ranges, completely covering, almost completely covering the whole distance between the mountain range and the sea. Think about what kind of different positionings I can have on the map for those forests, and that will create such a random look. Like it would be difficult for our mind to catch that randomness if we were just to add it randomly, because our mind is not formatted to add things randomly. So by using this mathematical approach, we are forcing ourselves to have a variety and more chance of randomness. You can apply this to all types of positioning. Like here, if I had a different type, then I would have a big forest next to mountain range, and it's a mixed one. Like the combinations increase more and more. So like another one, this time on the island, small one next to sea, like medium one next to sea with a gap inside. So all these features, imagine you have a very long list in your mind of all these features and you are randomly combining them. And that creates a nice variety of forest. And this is what I wanted to show you when it comes to bigger maps. If you apply this to your like bigger maps, and especially the world maps, it's gonna add such a beauty in my opinion. It's gonna add such a originality. I think you should do that. Let me know in the comments. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, give me some support and love, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.